Did you yell America when you hit the accelerator?
Oh, no.
And now, your favorite two blue-collar nobodies to give you their quiet perspective, Star-Lord and Joey.
You can't handle the truth!
Welcome back, YouTubers, to The Quiet Perspective. I'm your host, Star-Lord, Captain General Lieutenant Star-Lord. Like it says on my birth certificate. You can also call me Roy, and this is my co-host, Joey.
What are we talking about, Roy?
Okay, so right now we're going to have a little special edition, little bitty podcast because some big news just came out. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has announced a formal impeachment inquiry into President Trump. So to give you a little bit of insight on what we're talking about, we're going to play a little video here and give you some background so you know exactly what we're talking about. So enjoy the video and stay tuned for the comments.
Last Tuesday, we observed the anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution on September 17th. Sadly, on that day, the Intelligence Community Inspector General formally notified the Congress that the administration was forbidding him from turning over a whistleblower complaint on Constitution Day. This is a violation of law. Shortly thereafter, press reports began to break of a phone call by the President of the United States calling upon a foreign power to intervene in his election. This is a breach of his constitutional responsibilities. The facts are these. The Intelligence Community Inspector General, who was appointed by President Trump, determined that the complaint is both of urgent concern and credible. And its disclosure, he went on to say, relates to one of the most significant and important of the Director of National Intelligence's responsibility to the American people. On Thursday, the Inspector General testified before the House Intelligence Committee stating that the acting Director of National Intelligence blocked him from disclosing the whistleblower complaint. This is a violation of law. The law is unequivocal. The DNI staff, it says the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, shall provide Congress the full whistleblower complaint. For more than 25 years, I've served on the Intelligence Committee as a member, as the ranking member, as part of the Gang of Four, even before I was in the leadership. I was there when we created the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. That did not exist before 2004. I was there even earlier in the 90s when we wrote the whistleblower laws and continue to write them to improve them to ensure the security of our intelligence and the safety of our whistleblowers. I know what their purpose was, and we proceeded with balance and caution as we wrote the laws. I can say with authority the Trump administration's actions undermine both our national security and our intelligence and our protections of the whistleblowers, more than both. This Thursday, the acting DNI will appear before the House Intelligence Committee. At that time, he must turn over the whistleblower's full complaint to the committee. He will have to choose whether to break the law or honor his responsibility to the Constitution. On the final day of the Constitutional Convention in 1787, when our Constitution was adopted, Americans gathered on the steps of Independence Hall to wait the news of the government our founders had crafted. They asked Benjamin Franklin, "What do we have, a republic or a monarchy?" Franklin replied, "A republic if you can keep it. Our responsibility is to keep it." Our republic endures because of the wisdom of our Constitution, enshrined in three co-equal branches of government, serving as checks and balances on each other. The actions taken to date by the President have seriously violated the Constitution, especially when the President says, Article 2 says I can do whatever I want. For the past several months, we have been investigating in our committees and litigating in the courts, so the House can gather all the relevant facts and consider whether to exercise its full Article 1 powers, including a constitutional power of the utmost gravity, approval of articles of impeachment. And this week, the president has admitted to asking the president of Ukraine to take actions which would benefit him politically. The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the president's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections. Therefore, today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry. I'm directing our 6 committees to proceed with their investigations under that umbrella of impeachment inquiry. The president must be held accountable. No one is above the law. Getting back to our founders, in the darkest days of the American Revolution, Thomas Paine wrote, "The times have found us. The times found them to fight for and establish our democracy. The times have found us today, not to place ourselves in the same category of greatness as our founders, but to place us in the urgency of protecting and defending our Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic." In the words of Ben Franklin, to keep our republic. I thank our chairman, Chairman Nadler, Chairman Nadler of Judiciary, Chairman Schiff of Intelligence, Chairman Engel of Foreign Affairs, Chairman Cummings of Oversight, and Chairman Cummings I've been in touch with constantly. He's a master of so much, but including inspectors general and whistleblowers. Congresswoman Richie Neal of the Ways and Means Committee, Congresswoman Maxine Waters of the Foreign Financial Services Committee. And I commend all of our members, our colleagues, for their thoughtful approach to all of this, for their careful statements. God bless them, and God bless America. Thank you all.
So there it is, folks. That's the video in its entirety. Right off the bat, Joey, what is your immediate just gut reaction?
My immediate gut reaction is just Nancy Pelosi doing the same thing she does, like most of the Democrat leaders. This is like we talked about in the last video we did. This is just Russian collusion 2.0, I think.
Absolutely.
She said a lot of things, but she didn't really say anything, did she?
Yeah, she what I saw her doing was giving a lot of public speaking points and a lot of just hoopla with about 1 minute of meat and potatoes in between it.
Yeah, and I understand that if they really have any concrete thing that they can impeach Trump on, they're not going to say, she's not going to say it in that setting, obviously. But what honestly could they have?
I got to disagree with you on that. I think if they had anything, they would be plastering it on billboards and showing it everywhere. So to get right down to it, let's talk about what she actually did and said. They officially announced what they are calling it a formal impeachment inquiry. For those of you who don't know, that doesn't mean anything. That is not a legal term. There is no legality to it whatsoever. Officially, they're rebranding what they've been doing for the past 2 years. This is no official moving forward thing. It's to reset the news cycle, to drag him down some more. It's something for people to talk about, something that looks bad on the president.
So what you're saying, Roy, is that Russian collusion didn't work out and they got to start on something else, maybe?
And that's exactly what it sounds like. Now, that's not to say that this doesn't have a lot of impact and implications to it. This is obviously the beginning of a roadmap to formal impeachment. And I think that's going to have long-lasting ramifications on our government and how we operate in this country politically from here on out. And what I mean by that.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Let me ask you an honest question. If President Trump was found to have broke the law and did something wrong, would you have a problem with them impeaching him?
Absolutely not. No, I think he and every other government official and every other American citizen should be held to the letter of the law.
Right.
but I don't think there's any substance here. So allegedly, what they're saying he did was he used his power as the president of the United States, contact the Ukrainian leadership, and told them, "Hey, I want you to investigate a political opponent." And she even says that in her speech. She contacted them to interfere in an election. That right there, from a legal standpoint, is very presumptuous. He did call them. He has admitted to calling them and saying, "Hey, I want you to look into this."
Right now, today, Trump is going to release the transcripts for the call tomorrow.
And that's another uh, thing that could really backfire on them. Why are they doing this without even having all of the evidence in front of them? Yeah, I got to tell you, I think this is going to backfire on them big time. I don't know about you. I'm not going to get egg on my face. One of the things in criminal law you never do, you never ask a question you don't already know the answer to.
Exactly.
And they are doing this time and time and time and time again. But this time, it's dangerous because this time they're going towards impeachment.
Yeah, they're treading on something that's significant as far as the history of our government, you know, and that's not something to be taken lightly.
And not only that, what does that do to the average American citizen, to you or me? I don't know about you, but I'm outraged. If this is unfounded and they proceed to try to impeach my duly elected president, I'm outraged. And what do we do about that? To me, you're talking about ripping up the Constitution. You're going against everybody's rights. Where are we at as a government if you can just do this because you don't like the elected official? So back to the actual legality of it. She's making the assumption that he's doing this for political gain against a political opponent. Instead of what he said and what I believe to be true and what makes the most sense, to get to the bottom of an actual scandal to where an ex-vice president, Mr. Biden, used his power to get his son out of trouble. So the huge irony with all of this is they're trying to go ahead forward with impeachment on President Trump for something Biden is being investigated for. You can't make this up.
It's hypocrisy and all the different things you're talking about all the time.
And that's one of the things that really bugs me about this is, let's say the left, mainstream media, liberals, Democrats, Congress, everybody is actually outraged at what Mr. President has done. Why are they not equally outraged at what Biden has been said to have done? Biden has admitted to doing it on video of him saying, "Hey, I bullied the Ukrainians." Why is there not equal outrage? So there's that part of the legality. She's assuming that it's for political reasons when it's very well just because he's a president and he's reaching out to a foreign power to figure out something that went on in a foreign land. That's what leaders do. The other part of it is they're saying that the administration blocked the foreclosure of evidence from a whistleblower complaint. Now, here's where it gets very legal, very technical. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not familiar with the statutes 100%. But my understanding is that this was all coming from a third-party source, hearsay. That is not a whistleblower complaint.
Well, it
That
could
is,
be. Maybe. No.
it can't legally.
Okay.
100% by definition, it can't be whistleblower if you're not the one whistleblowing.
No, yeah, third party. That's what you meant by that. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot to be going on there. Again, essentially, they're jumping the gun. All the facts aren't out there, and they're jumping the gun. And again, it's just dangerous with how they're doing it. I will say this. There was one thing she said in the video that I haven't really seen reacted to from the left or the right. She says something to the effect of Mr. President saying, quote, "Article 2 says I can do whatever I want." End quote.
No, he can't.
Now that I have a problem with. If he did indeed say that.
And Roy, Roy, did he say that?
My understanding is he did. I can't confirm or deny it.
And we both agree he cannot.
He cannot, absolutely. I don't think That's not a very presidential thing to do or say. If he did say it, I would like to know the context of it, because you know how they like to blow things out of proportion and take things out of context.
Yeah.
But at face value, let's just assume she's telling the truth, which that's a very hard assumption. I don't agree with it. That's a mistake. He shouldn't say that. He shouldn't have that mentality. I do have a big problem with that. So I will give her 1 point on the board for that. But I digress. I will take some points off of the board for her with how many times did she use the word intelligence in this speech? I don't equate anything they're doing with intelligence and common sense. It's very, very ironic to me that she would go out there and say that when, they back a party who wants to get rid of cows, gas, and don't even know what gender they are. So to claim intelligence, I kind of have an issue with it.
Yeah.
And even along with that, something that really bugged me through this whole video, she started off with, last week it was Constitution Day.
Man.
The pageantry. Oh my God.
Okay, yeah. She talked about Constitution Day. And here's where I have a problem with this. Does anybody see the glaring problem with this, with Constitution Day, as in Second Amendment?
And the fact that they don't back it at all, but she's all of a sudden all about the Constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from the beginning of the speech to the end of the speech, she looks like somebody who was trying to write a monologue in a theatrical play. Constitution Day, Benjamin Franklin, on these steps, I blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, she doesn't care about any of that.
We don't need the
She
drama
honestly
queen stuff.
doesn't.
We don't need the pageantry. You're not auditioning for a role. Can we just get to the meat and potatoes, talk about the politics?
And at this, and there it is. Did she? No.
Oh, and they really did.
She never did.
They don't have anything. They don't know
She
yet.
never said anything.
So to me, the whole speech was just flat and full of nonsense. But the last line that she puts out there, I believe it was the last line, one that really strikes me hard, ironic, and just says to me how full of crap they are. No one is above the law.
They all think they are. I mean, I really think they are. They feel that way.
On face value. Why is nobody talking about what Biden did? That started all of this. But I guess he is above the law. Let's take it back to Hillary and her emails. And
I was gonna say we can go back further than that.
It's not right. Obviously, they are above the law, and to say that they're not is hypocritical and just wrong 100%. And it's outrageous. It's outrageous. It's egregious. And don't get me wrong. I think Republicans and Democrats alike should all be held accountable. They're all crooks. And that's kind of what's messed up. We've come to expect that. We've come to accept that. And I will say this, ironically, of all the politicians we've had and presidents and everything, I truly believe that President Trump is probably the least corrupt of them all. And they are
so
sitting
far,
here trying to.
I
truly
would
believe
say so.
that. And if I'm wrong, I'll gladly admit it. If he releases this stuff tomorrow and it says he's a dirty piece of crap, well, I'll say he's a dirty piece of crap. I'm not going to defend somebody blindly. Yeah, I will make my official prediction right now. Regardless of what that transcript says, they will not accept it if it's good for the president, and they will try to bash it if it's in any way derogatory towards him. Either way, this is not going to go away. This is going to continue into the election cycle, and it's going to have far-reaching ramifications. With that being said, that's our take on it. Just two normal blue-collar guys, quietly giving our perspective. I want to leave you with this next video. Please sit down and watch it. It's another take that you're not going to see on the mainstream media. This is actually Trump responding to some of these allegations. So enjoy this video. Feel free to leave comments in the section below. We'll put our email down there if you want to contact us, maybe be on the show or just give us some input. This is Star-Lord, Captain General So, signing off.
Why'd you block AT? Why'd you block AT? Why did you block AT Ukraine a week before your call? Will you release them?
Go ahead. Mr. President, Congress is moving towards impeachment. including Nancy Pelosi, could be as a result of the Ukraine call. How do you feel about that?
I think it's ridiculous. It's a witch hunt. I'm leading in the polls. They have no idea how they stop me. The only way they can try is through impeachment. This has never happened to a president before. There's never been a thing like this before. It's nonsense. And when you see the call, when you see the readout of the call, which I assume you'll see at some point, you'll understand. That call was perfect. It couldn't have been nicer. And even the Ukrainian government put out a statement that that was a perfect call. There was no pressure put on them whatsoever. But there was pressure put on with respect to Joe Biden. What Joe Biden did for his son, that's something they should be looking at.
Why did you block aid a week before your call with the Ukrainian president?
Because very important, I want other countries to put up money. I think it's unfair that we put up the money. Then people called me, they said, oh, let it go, and I let it go. But we paid the money. The money was paid. But very importantly, Germany, France, other countries should put up money. And that's been my complaint from the beginning.
Does it have a connection